Have you ever been caught in the dynamic where no matter what's happening, the same dynamic comes up, whether it be about a relationship? Maybe you're in a relationship with somebody and this old dynamic from the past bubbles up, or maybe it's money. Maybe you change a job because of an old boss and the way that they treated you, only to go into a new job and have the same dynamic with a coworker or that new boss. No matter what you're doing, it seems like your past continues to find you and haunt you. Well, the good news is you're not being haunted, and today we're going to be talking about how your past affects your future. Hey guys, my name is Abby, and in today's video, I'm hoping that it will help to crack and break the system and the cycle that you've currently been experiencing. Now, before we hop into the video, I want to let you know that if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, I am still offering my donation-based payment system, meaning that there is a $30 minimum payment. Other than that, you can donate more if you feel led to do so. Either way, we'll work together to identify and start to dissolve your current limiting beliefs so it can liberate you to experience the life you want to live. So if you're interested in that, if that resonates, you can go ahead and click the link below. And if you're interested in seeing what it's been like for other people in past sessions, you can head over to the community tab on my main page to check out past testimonials. So let's get back into the video so you can understand how your past is affecting you right now and how it'll affect your future and how you can change it today. We are wasting no time. This is underperforming, but it's okay. All right, so obviously this video, we're talking about how your past is affecting not only today, but more detrimentally your future. Now, that can be beneficial, right? Maybe if you continually find people who are generous, or maybe if you find people who are really loving and accept you wholly, that's great. Your past is affecting your future, it's affecting your present day. Wonderful, congratulations. However, most likely if you're watching this video, your past and that old cycle, that old dynamic continually replays and you don't want it anymore. You're watching this video to help understand how you can cut the cord. And I'm here to help you to identify and start to leverage your power. So why is this happening? You're not haunted, you've done nothing bad, and you do deserve to have the dynamic that you're wanting. But you've got to understand what is actually happening. I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible. I've done other videos about subconscious, but this is a really, really basic, easy way. And I'm going to actually, this is coming from a lecture that I watched recently. It's a little dull, but packed with information. I'm going to leave that full-length lecture in the description so you can benefit the most out of it. But I got this idea from that, and I wanted to expand on it and simplify it, because in my head, immediately I saw this visual from the words that this guy was saying, and I wanted to share it with you. So you have a primary experience. So let's, for instance, say that when you asked for what you wanted when you were little, you were told, no, that's too much, okay? So you have that experience. That then creates a perception that when you ask for what you want, you're going to be told no, or it's too much. This perception, which is essentially shaped awareness, so that means there's like a whole experience possible, but all you see is this little spot right here. That's supposed to be like a little pie piece, but do the best for that. So anyway, that's it. You don't see this whole, you only see this block. It's a perception of this whole thing, your vantage point, where you're seeing things from. So the experience, vulnerably asking for something, being told no, creates a perception of what happens when you ask for your needs. That creates a belief about what happens when you ask for your needs, and that leads to more experiences that then harden that. And actually, I'm going to give an example with this one. Oh boy. Okay, we've got some velocity power with this one. But anyway, okay, so let's say that the blue is the early on first time you experience this, right? You ask for what you need. This could look other ways too, right? When you want to hang out with people, maybe you had siblings, and when you wanted to reach for them and you connect with them and hang out, they were too cool for you, so they rejected you, or you were told that you weren't cool enough, whatever. You have an early on experience that shaped that early on perception, which is awareness shaped, which created a belief, which leads back to experiences. And now we're in 2021. Congratulations. We have time lapsed So now, off of these, you already have this happening. You have these beliefs, these perceptions underlying all of it from the primary experience. But now you're having these experiences, and so the black's going to represent 2021. Recreating those experiences, it's fortifying the perception that it's real, that again, and the belief that essentially is being created can be a number of things. Maybe it's when you work really hard, you don't get what you want. Maybe it's you're not good enough to get money. Maybe it's when you want to connect with somebody, they're not there. Or sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. It can be so many different things. So take this as it applies. This right here, what it produces can be so many things. For instance, from one of my early on things was beliefs about emotional experiences was I don't have an ability to influence a consistent, reliable connection. So no matter what I do, if I work really hard, do this or that, it's always threatened, right? It's always unsure. So that was one of the primary things I did, which again, 2020, well, not in 2021 now, thank God, but say 2010, right? I was having experiences that led to the fortification, the strengthening of that perception from very early on, probably 1 to 5 years old me. Now I'm confusing it. So the experience as an adult then led to fortifying the perceptions, which then led to fortifying the beliefs, which then led to experiencing it again as an adult. If I'm not aware of this and start to question this belief and start to stand back and say, this is a theme, this is a cycle, this is a pattern. The only commonality in it is me. So if I believe that I'm co-creating my experience, which you would have to be if you believe in manifestation, if I believe I'm co-creating my experiences or have a creative aspect to my life, what am I creating this from? Where am I creating this from? And I would need to go back and understand, okay, I believe that I don't have an ability to maintain a consistent, reliable connection. That was my perception of my early on experience. But this perception is just one aspect. So what you want to do is become aware of it. Oh yeah, I keep finding people who show me this perception. But the perception is not the whole truth. So what you want to do is basically use your adult mind, which is represented with this black marker, and start to see that there's way more out here. All of this is possible. So we got to become aware of the two. Everything that's possible and the current perception you have, very limited. So the more you start to understand, okay, I had an early on experience and I keep replaying that. Every time I start to think and feel and act like this is true and absolute, I'm just taking my past and throwing it into my future. And I'm going to continue to experience the same dynamic. When I stop to ask, is it true? Do I know without a doubt that it is true that I don't have an ability to do anything to maintain a consistent, reliable connection? Is it true that I'm not worth being connected to? Is it true that everybody I try to connect with is going to abandon me? These are things you can start asking yourself, because as you can start to reason with it from your 2021 year mind, or however old you are, whatever year you're watching this, the more you start to see this, the more you'll start to basically, again, we talked about perception as shaped awareness. You start to shatter that mold of your current perception to allow it to expand into the full awareness of the situation, which is also a way of gaining your power back and your self-acceptance, appreciation, where you can say, oh, look, this person isn't emotionally available. As I go and seek and try to get their attention and get their affection, that's me abandoning myself because I'm living off this dynamic as if it's real. Oh, okay. Who is emotionally open and available to meet my needs? Whoa, am I doing that right now? Well, by even asking these questions, you're starting to show up for yourself more, which is going to allow you to then get a reflection in your outside world with that same resonance, with that same value. So the more you start to understand that your past is affecting your current and will affect your future without a doubt, Because the way that the subconscious works, which is what you're living off of, unless you use your mind, your brain, to start being in the present moment and observing what you're feeling and how you're thinking. As you bring that, it's called metacognition, thinking about the thoughts you think, thinking about how you're feeling and why. The more you start to unwrap that this perception is true and that's all there is, and realize there's a whole lot more to the situation and possibilities, the more you'll start to optimize your power in the world, basically. Quantum mechanics shows that every potential exists right now, and where you're putting your attention and focus is what collapses and brings that potential into the 3D. So if you keep collapsing that you're going to be abandoned, if you keep collapsing that you're not valuable, based on your past primary experience, you continue to strengthen that perception, which strengthens the beliefs, which attracts those experiences into your life. It's not all that exists right now, but as long as you live off this dynamic, that's all that you can work with. The more you start to question what it is you feel, what belief is in that subconscious, the more you start to be present, not thinking about all the problems and thinking about all the things that could go wrong because you're trying to anticipate the future based on your past, which is still living in the past, but it just happens to be your future. The more you start to be in the present moment and observe yourself, that's actually how you can tap into the power of neuroplasticity, which is allowing your brain to form new connections and prune other ones apart. And you then begin to create and shape a new life for you, a new dynamic. You are worth this, and the power that exists is recognition of this pattern. Start looking at where you are and bring yourself to the present moment and act according to what you're worth, as opposed to what you perceived yourself to be worth in 1985 or 1991 or 1972, whatever the year. Start looking at those experiences that stand out in your mind, re-reason on them, and see your true self and your worth was never compromised. Your perception that you weren't valuable is the only thing standing in your way of what happened, and embracing that and stepping into your worth now. And you're worth it. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, click that little like button. It really helps to spread this information. If you haven't done so already, get on over here, join this community. We would love to have you. And if you like this video, check this one out as well. You're gonna like it. I love y'all, and I'll see you on the next one.